Bloomberg News is at least anticipating the potential for a direct strike on Israeli soil. How likely is that?
Yeah, it seems to be what people are telling sources here, and also I think what Israel seems to be bracing for publicly, as well as the U.S. The U.S. State Department has warned its own employees not to travel around Israel with this Iran's warning of retaliation sort of sitting out there. And now we're seeing much more alarm that this attack could be imminent. It's not clear exactly what shape it will take. There's talk about Hezbollah militants, which are obviously funded and trained by Iran on Israel's northern border with Lebanon. There's talk of them, raining down missiles or sending drones. There's even talk of a potential strike emerging from Iranian territory itself. It's not clear how much Israel's Iron Dome and other, missile batteries will be able to take down. So there is a lot of alarm, growing concern. The U.S. is kind of repositioning forces in the region, seems to be moving more assets into the region as well. And I think everyone is just bracing for this right now. And then, of course, the big question is what comes next. And Israel has, said that they will hit back.
Well, especially, Iain, as the U.S. has reiterated time and time again that what they would most like to avoid is a further escalation in the Middle East. But there are different degrees of escalation, surely. How escalatory will it be if it is an Iranian proxy like Hezbollah, as you mentioned, versus Iran itself conducting an attack like this? What are the potential degrees of escalation here?
I mean, it's a good question. I think definitely, Hezbollah militants have already been in direct conflict with Israel. I don't think Israel will draw any distinction between, Hezbollah militants necessarily in Iran per se. They've already hit Iranian assets in Syria and elsewhere as this war has gone on. I think the big thing will be the degree to which this attack, if it comes, is successful, what kind of damage it causes, what sort of, missiles or other, attack drones or whatever it will be, how much actually gets through, Israeli defenses, and, the degree to which any damage is caused will probably shape the Israeli reaction. And I think the big open question is, if it comes from Iran proper and there is, a significant degree of damage or casualties, Israel would be forced, I think, in terms of domestic pressure and in terms of its own war aims to respond. And that was, as you say, one of the U.S. goals since this conflict began, has been to avoid that sort of escalation. And we've seen various tit-for-tat escalations, throughout the region, in Iraq and Syria, with Lebanon, as this war has dragged on. And none of them have actually, led to that full-blown, regional conflict that the U.S. has been trying to avoid. And I think the real worry here is that this sort of response from Iran and an Israeli counter-response could then engender that type of, regional conflagration that everyone's been trying to avoid.